welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, and Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to have you back with me. My name again is Jennifer RABAGO-ROMAN, and my book is Remembering My Real Life. Again, my book is about poetry, and it involves poetry that takes place in all different places, that takes place in a person's heart, to a person's touch, watching a snowdrop in a person's arms, with friends outside. It takes place on a special night. It takes place in the night. It takes place near water. It can take place in the moonlight. It can take place, as you can see, pretty much in different places and anywhere. So I can't give you every single place that takes place in the book, because if not, you must read the book. Just remember, you can buy my book at Amazon.com. So let's get straight into today's topic. So can anybody tell me what today's topic is about? I just, oh, this looks bad. Can anybody take a guess and tell me what today's topic might be based on what I'm wearing? I just want to see if anybody can guess. Any guesses out there? No? Okay. Well, today's topic today is love. There are so many poems out there that are written about love. So many poems. And it's unbelievable. That's right, Fairgoer 1634. Red is the symbol of love. Love is so wonderful. It's such a great feeling that people get blinded by love. And it's so wonderful. It's such a magnificent feeling that you feel in your heart that you just keep smiling. You know, yes, Fairgoer 709. Love makes the world go round. I totally agree with you. Completely. I completely resonate with that. Love makes the world go round. You know, yesterday, I think I told you, all of you guys, oh, thank you, 709, Fairgoer 709. I appreciate your compliment for my lipstick. Well, I had to match, you know. So I did say that I was going to watch the movie Ever After on Friday, and I did watch it yesterday. And I wanted to say, that in the movie, Drew Barrymore says to Leonardo da Vinci that if a fish falls in love with a bird, where do they live? Well, Da Vinci says to her, well, then I will put wings on you. And she gets so happy because when he puts those wings on her beautiful dress, the prince has no idea what she's going to look like when she comes walking up those stairs, and his eyes just fall more deeply more in love with her, that it's unbelievable, because he's already in love with her. That's what happens when somebody is so deeply in love already, just after being with someone only for a matter of a few days. Because love can only take a few days of being with someone. Yes, that's how. I'm so sorry. That's how short a time that love can take. That's how quickly it takes to fall in love. So if anybody has any comment they want to add, or a question they want to add at any time, feel free to just ask, okay? I appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Okay, so love, it's a set of emotions and behaviors that are characterized by intimacy and passion and commitment. It involves care. Fairgoer 709 says, do I believe in love at first sight? I sure do, because it happened to me. So let's finish that sentence. So it involves care, closeness and protectiveness, attraction, affection, and trust. Love can vary. Love can vary in intensity and can change over time. It is associated with a range of positive emotions, including happiness, excitement, life satisfaction, and euphoria. But it can also result in negative emotions such as jealousy, and stress. And this has happened because I've seen it, which is very sad. So, does anybody have a question at all yet? Okay. Fairgoer 1634 says, how I wish that everyone around the world can share their love to anyone. I totally agree with you, Fairgoer 1634, because if they did, this world would be a lot happier place, and there would be a lot less depression, a lot less anxiety, but a lot less depression, and people would be a lot happier, and there would be no more war. Yes, thank you, Fairgoer 1634. I totally agree with you. Thank you for your thought. Okay, so when it comes to love, some people would say it is one of the most important human emotions. Yet, despite thank you, Fairgoer 748. I appreciate your comment that my beauty is. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So when it comes to love, some people would say that love is one of the most important human emotions. Yet, despite being one of the most studied behaviors, it is still least understood. For example, researchers debate whether love is a biological or culturally phenomenon. You know, love is most likely influenced by both biological drives and cultural influences. While hormones and biology are both important, the way we express and experience love is also influenced by our personal conceptions of love. You know, so what do you think? Are they biological or cultural? Tell me, what do you think real quick before we move on? Let me get a sip and tell me what you think. Nobody? Okay, so let's move on. So how do you know if you're in love? Can anybody tell me if you know when you're in love? No? Okay, so I'll tell you. What are some signs of love? Well, researchers have made distinctions between feelings of liking and loving another person. According to a psychologist, of course, I'm going to notice your comment, Fairgore 748. I don't go unnoticed. I get butterfly. That's a good one, Fairgore 1634. Butterflies in the stomach. I get butterflies in my stomach too. When I met my husband, I got butterflies in my stomach. Every single time I would get around him, I would get so many butterflies in my stomach. That is a sure sign that you're in love. Fairgore 748 says he or she thinks it's biological. Well, thank you for your comment, Fairgore 748. So, according to the psychologist Zick Rubin, romantic love is made up of these three elements: attachment, which is needing to be with another person and desiring physical contact and approval. Second is caring, which is valuing the other person's happiness and needs as much as your own. Third is intimacy, which is sharing your private thoughts and feelings and desires to be with the other person. So based on, that's so sweet of you. Thank you, Fairgore 748. I appreciate that. Well, you just remember, you know, that these are recorded and they are saved on YouTube. So you can always go back and you can watch these recordings on YouTube anytime you want. Every single one from the first day of, Fairgore 748 says, love is a soul recognition to its counterpoint to another. That's right. If anybody didn't know that, that is very true. Correct. Thank you for letting other people know that, Fairgore 748. Other people might not have known that. I do know that, so thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you telling other people that. So, as I was saying, based on this view of romantic love, Rubin developed two questionnaires to measure these variables known as Rubin's scale, known as Rubin's scale of liking and loving. While people tend to view people they like a pleasant love is marked as being devoted, possessive, and confiding in one another. Okay, so there are types of love, okay? Not all forms of love are the same. And psychologists have identified a number of different types of love that people may experience. These types of love include, like, friendship. This type of love includes liking someone and sharing to a certain degree of intimacy. Infatuation. Oh boy. I think I might need to. Okay, so Fairgoer 1634 says, you say that you love someone when their happiness is very important to you, so that you behave in a kind and caring way towards them. Correct, exactly. I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so the next one is the infatuation. This is a form of love that often involves intense feelings of attraction without a sense of commitment. It often takes place early in a relationship and may deepen into a more lasting love. The next one is passionate love. This type of love is marked by intense feelings of longing and attraction. It often involves an idealization of the other person and need to maintain constant closeness. Compassionate and companionate love. This form of love is marked by trust, affection, intimacy, and commitment. Unrequited love. This form of love happens when one person loves another who does not return those feelings. I think that has to be probably the worst feeling in the world. I wouldn't wish that kind of love upon anybody. So, does anybody have a question until I move on? No? Okay. Because this is I'm going through a lot of information about love. All right. Oh, let's see. Fairgoer 1634 says, love is also very hard to define, since it is a very abstract concept, which could mean different things to different people. That's right, Fairgoer 1634. Love has a lot of different meanings. So thank you for your comment. So, is love biological or cultural? Some researchers suggest that love is a basic human emotion, just like happiness or anger, while others believe that is a cultural phenomenon that arises partly due to social pressures and expectations. Researchers have found that love exists in all cultures, which suggests that love has a strong biological component. Just like the very first person said, it's biological. It is a part of a human nature to seek out and find love. However, culture can significantly affect how individuals think about and experience and display romantic love. Now, how do you practice love? There is no one single way how to practice love. Every relationship is unique, and each person brings their own history and needs. Some things, oh, here we go. Enzo says, do you believe that love starts with a cup of coffee or a bottle of beer? What is better, coffee or beer or a cocktail? Well, Enzo, it's whatever you prefer. I think it might be better to maybe start simple. Don't do a cocktail. Start simple. Maybe the person you're trying to maybe the person that you're trying to date, maybe they're in recovery. So start simple, so maybe take them out for coffee and talk to them. You might be surprised what you find. You need to start in easy. So I wouldn't start with a cocktail at first. So take them out for coffee. It's a simple way. So find a little bit at a time. You got to take it a little easy. So Jane says, is love measured on how can someone give you material things? Oh, Jane. No, love is not measured on how somebody can give you material things. No, not at all. Because Fairgoer 709 says, LOL, coffee is God's love to us for completing yesterday's tasks. That's very funny. Okay. So Jane, I have to finish with you. Okay. So you cannot measure love based on material goods. Okay. Because some people can't afford certain material things. Okay. So just because your husband doesn't give you that beautiful bracelet that you wanted, you can't put him down for that. Some people just can't afford certain things. Maybe he could only get you, a certain pair of earrings, So you can't measure love by material goods. Love is a feeling that you get. You should just measure love by a feeling, not by what he gives you. Talk to him. See maybe, what he's feeling. Maybe some things you have to communicate. Communication is very essential when it comes to love. You can't measure it by material goods. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So, how to practice love. There is no single way on how to practice love. Every relationship is unique, and each person brings their own history and needs. I think I said that. I'm not sure. So, some things that you can do to show that you love people that you care are including. You can see if he does this. Okay. Fairgoer 709 says some people aren't good at expressing feelings or have time to show love. My father was an incredible provider and gift giver. That's fantastic, Fairgoer 709. My father, he was a fantastic person as well, and a fantastic for my mother. He was incredible when it came to love. And also, Fairgoer 991 says, how far can someone do in the name of love? Oh my gosh, Fairgoer 991, you have no idea. I've seen a friend of mine on Facebook. He found the love of his life in his 40s. And he went to beyond to go for his wife. And he took her everywhere to show her how much he loved her. He went so much. He just, when you find the love of your life, you really try to show them how much you love them. You do what you can to show them how much you love them. If you can try to give them as much as you can, you really, really do. You show it as much as you can. A woman will try to buy the husband, his favorite things when they go shopping, when she goes shopping. A husband will take the time to stop at a store and buy his wife some flowers, her favorite flowers, if he knows what they are. He should know what her favorite flowers are. Fairgoer 709 says loyalty and honesty go hand in hand. Correct. I totally agree with you. If you don't know what your significant other's favorite flowers are, and Fairgoer 709 says some would die for the love, like Romeo and Juliet. As long as no one gets hurt, love can be expressed. I totally agree there. I would die for the love of my life, and I totally agree there. If you would die for your spouse, then they are your true love. That's how it should feel. So that's how you show when you're in true love. So let's see. This is how you can practice some love. Like I was saying, you're willing to be vulnerable, be willing to forgive, do your best to be willing to apologize when you make mistakes. Let them know that you care. Listen to what they have to say. Prioritize. Oh, Enzo says, why do I blush when I talk about love? Ha ha, you look great. That's very sweet. Thank you. I probably blush because I love talking about love. I love the thought of love. I love people being in love. And I look forward to being in love. And I love being in love. And I love the thought of love. I love people being in love. I can't happen. I can't help it. Oh, you're welcome, Fairgoer 1248. And you know what? Those are some of my favorite numbers. Thank you so much for your comment. I appreciate it. So let's continue the list, shall we? Because I have a lot to get through. But please continue with the comments. I appreciate it. So let's see. Prioritize spending time with your person. Show them that you care, like I said. Reciprocating love gestures. Oh my gosh, I love doing this. And acts of kindness. You know what you can do, husbands and wives? This is the hugest thing. Write cute love notes. When I was dating my husband, he would leave me the cutest notes ever. Jennifer, I'm going, this is what I'm doing. And he loved Romeo. But that's not his name. But when we were dating, people used to always refer to him as Romeo because they thought he was so charming. And he is charming. He's very charming. But, people do change. What can I say? So my hair's a little. So, but that's what you can do, men. And women, that's okay. But love notes are what husbands can do for wives, and flowers are more for husbands that can do for men, and men. Another thing you can do for your wives, you can run a hot bath for them with some bath salts. Uh-oh, what happened? You can run a bath with some bath salts and some lavender. It's very calming and relaxing. Oh, Fairgoer 709 says, I love my pets more than people sometimes. You know what? You know why? It's because pets don't talk. And I can agree with that. Because you know what? Pets are loving. And Fairgoer 709 says, how do you keep love alive in a long relationship? Well, Fairgoer 709, some of these tips that I'm telling you, this is how you keep a long relationship of love alive. You tell the person that you love them. You do little tips, you make sure that you bond with your person. You connect with them. You give them a little love note every once again. You give them flowers once and again. You go shopping with them. Do something fun together. You know, you have to do acts of kindness. You know, take when your wife is doing the dishes every once and again, go behind her and give her a hug. I used to love that when my husband used to do that to me. He does it every now and again, but not like he used to. But before, he used to do it all the time, but not anymore. I don't know why. You know, but you can do so many things to show the person that you love them. So many things, you know. So that's why I'm sharing with you these ways of sharing affection. You know, find a beautiful love movie like Ever After. It's so beautiful. It helps you reconnect, you know. And oh, here we go. Fairgoer 709 says, how do you believe you should love your husband unconditionally? Or is that for your children only? Oh, no. Or are there conditions on your mate? Or do you let him or her get away with anything? Oh, no. Well, Fairgoer, you should love your husband or your wife unconditionally. You should. But that's completely up to you. But you should love them unconditionally. You should have that already. And of course, you should love your child unconditionally, because, you know, they're your child. I've got the question and they're not up there on the thing. I can't see it. And are there conditions on your mate? No, there are no conditions on the mate. They should love you and they should respect you always. Can you put it back up, please? Do you let him or her get away with anything? No, I do not let him or her get away with anything. They should always respect you. If they do not respect you, you should always tell them that they're getting out of their boundaries, and you should tell them that they're disrespecting you and they are hurting your feelings. If they're like talking down to you, you should excuse me, you should tell them, you know, you're hurting my feelings. Please don't talk to me that way. So be honest, communicate with your spouse and say, look, you know, I don't like the way you're treating me. Correct. Yes, Fairgoer 709. No way would I let my mate neglect me or dishonor me or love them still. Correct. Exactly. You always want to make sure that you communicate with the person that you're in love with, because if you don't, then it's not love. They don't love you enough, because then the love is not there anymore. Then the love turns to something bad. You have a bad feeling then in your heart, and then it turns to pain, and you don't want that to happen. So you just want to stay happy. I'm sorry. Right, Fairgoer 1634. Communication is the most important thing when it comes to relationships. I'm sorry. So, the impact of love. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. So, I had to readjust. Oh. So, the impact of love is that love, attachment, and affection have an important impact of well-being and the quality of life. Loving relationships have been linked to a lower risk. Thank you, Fairgore 748. I appreciate that. I couldn't help it. I'm so sorry, guys. So a loving relationship, it's very linked to, it helps lower heart disease, and it helps decrease the risk of dying, and it also helps decrease a heart attack. Let's see, and you also, thank you, Fairgore 1634. I appreciate your comment. I can't help it. Let me get a moment. I'm so sorry. It only shows you. Thank you, Fairgore 709. I appreciate that. I really do need some. I'm fine. I do need some, though. I have a lot of hair. So where was I? What was I saying? Right. So the impact of love, it can, when you have good love when you are receiving good love, when you are receiving good love from your spouse, when you, I need to breathe. When you receive good love from your spouse, you tend to get good things happen to you, the other person. Like when the husband sends the wife, or when the wife sends good things to the husband, the significant other will receive better things. Okay, so like you will receive better health habits, you'll get increased longevity, you'll get lower stress levels. Yeah, you'll get less depression, you'll get a lower risk of diabetes. Ow, ow. Sorry. Something went in my eye a little. And right. And the lower risk of heart disease, and you'll have a lower risk of a heart attack, and you'll have the lower risk of dying. So with all of those things combined together, you have a better chance of being happy, because you are loved by your spouse completely and inevitably. That is what happens when you are loved fully and completely by your spouse. When you are not, then the other significant other is then gets the other way. They have other different problems. They will then, develop other different problems. But we don't want that to happen. We want happy problems. We want a relationship or a marriage to last a long time. We want people to be happy in love. We want marriages to last a lifetime. We want marriages to last like my parents. 52, wait a minute. Now they're going to be 53 years married on November 27th. I can't believe it. I'm so unbelievably happy for my parents. 53 years, you know, and they've been through thick and thin together, my parents. Katharina Rabago and Eduardo Rabago, you know, this book is dedicated to them. Even on the inside, it says it, you know. It says it on the inside, right here. To God, my father, Eduardo Rabago Jr., my mother, Katharina Rabago, who has always inspired me and to and told me to aim for the stars and the spirit through which I live. I continue to surrender my will, my way, and the fear that I won't do it right on time in a way that makes me and the people happy. That is who I'm proud. Finally, I understand that God and my angels are enough. To all of my friends who have been there for me through thick and thin while I was growing up in Adelphi, Maryland. This is who my book is dedicated to. Remembering my real life. My book is dedicated to my parents, who I love and adore with all my heart, because they have loved me unconditionally, my parents. Married 53 years on November 27th. That is a loving and the most wonderful marriage that I've known. They've been there for each other through thick and thin. They, you know, they talk. They are the most wonderful parents that I could ever ask for, you know. Who knows, you know, because love, like you guys have said, it comes in all, you can do almost anything when you're in love. Tell me, guys, who has any questions now? You know, please let me know now. No? Now that I'm calm? Aw, thank you, Fairgoer 1248. I appreciate that. It's right back to you as well. That's right. Okay, Fairgoer 748. You can purchase my book. You can purchase Remembering My Real Life at Amazon.com, or you can get it right at my booth. Right at my booth. No, I am not 709. I cannot read that question. I'm sorry, but I can only say, no, I am not. To you, you know that question, but I can say, no, I am not. Fairgoer 709 says, how important is self-love? That's a very good question. Self-love is very important, because if you don't love yourself, then you can't love others, and you must love yourself. And the way you can love yourself is by taking care of yourself through doing like your hair. Mine looks a little screwy right now, I'm sorry, but you must pamper yourself. Okay, how do you tell someone to practice self-love? You tell them, be honest with them. Excuse me. Be honest with them, talk with them on the same level, of course. Be honest and tell them in a monotone, of course, okay? And if you're the same sex, of course, would be great. If you're not, be very careful with your wording. If it's for your spouse, the great thing would be, which would be which would be fantastic. You know, what would be a great gift also, husbands, for your wives, get a Groupon, and there's some great ones that are there, and get a Groupon for a massage, or get a Groupon for her to get her hair done. That's another great one. Excuse me. Or get a Groupon for her to get her nails done. No, she might have a place she goes herself. Or get a Groupon for her to get a facial. You know, most women, they love to pamper themselves. So that's a great thing for a woman. That is how you can practice self-love. Faragor 12:48 says, should I cancel my self-love if ever someone will love me? No, never cancel your self-love. You should always do self-love, no matter what. Always do self-love. Even when I was single, I always practiced self-love, because if you don't love yourself and you don't practice self-love, you don't feel good about yourself. You don't feel good about yourself. You don't love yourself. You don't feel good. You know, you won't be good about yourself. You don't feel good. You know, you don't look good. You don't feel good. You don't do anything then. You don't feel fabulous. You know, you can't look to the stars and say, thank you for allowing me to be me. You know, that's what I want for you. You have to love yourself. Faragor 12:48. Don't you want to feel loved? Don't you want to love yourself? You have to do self-love. You have to. Does anybody else have a question? I mean, you have to. I love you. I don't even know you, but I love you. Because you know why? Because there's only you. And all of you matter. Every single person matters, no matter what. Because you know why? Because God made you. He made you in his own image because he loves you. You are one in his own. You are completely unique. You are a beautiful person inside and out. And you have to embrace yourself. You have to love yourself completely. If you don't, then how? Excuse me. I had something was tickling my nose. If you don't love yourself, then how can you love somebody else? So you have to self-love yourself. You understand what I mean? So you have to. Does anybody else have a question? Okay, Fairgoer 709 says, do you believe self-esteem able acts beget good esteem? In other words, fake it till you make it? Well, you could do that if you want, but it's better to have good self-esteem, because you should believe in yourself. I don't want you to fake it. I want you to be real. I want you to be true to yourself. I want you to be authentic, and I want you to be your true self. You understand what I mean? Yeah. You have to be true to yourself, and you have to be authentic. You don't want to be fake. You want to be true. You want to be honest to yourself. You don't want to be fake. You want to be authentic and true to yourself and be happy. That's all that matters. Don't fake it. Excuse me. So that's what you want to do. Does anybody else have a question? Well, this was okay. Fairgoer 1634 says, why fake it when you can just be real? Well, why fake it when you can just be real? I don't why fake it when you can just be real? I don't like that. It's not good to fake it. It's not good to fake it. You're not being your true self. That's not good. That implication in my head, it's you're not being true. You shouldn't fake it. You should be being true. You should be being true. How many poems are in my book, Fairgoer 709? 100 poems are in my book. Does anybody else have a question about my book? This is my book. Do you like it? Does it look pretty? Yes. I'm going to have an interview on Fairgoer 1631 says, yeah, that's why would you fake it when you can just be you? Oh, well, I am being me. I'm not faking it. I'm being myself. I'm not faking it. But a lot of people do try to fake it because they try to blend in, especially if they're in a group setting. And I don't like it when people fake it, personally. I don't like it at all. So I will be back at 3:30 and we'll be talking about a different topic. So please come back and see me. And you can purchase my book at Amazon.com. And you can pick it up for people for Christmas. Or, oh, aside from love poems, what other poems are in my book? Well, I talk about all different kinds of poems. I talk about, I talk about poems that are about talk about a person's heart. I talk about a person's touch. I talk about snow. I talk about being in a person's arms. I talk about being with friends. I talk about being outside. I talk about a special night. I talk about near water. I talk about in the moonlight. I talk about different places. But the only problem is I can't tell you all the places because there's even poems about angels. But the only problem is I can't tell you all of them. Oh, Fairgoer 1634 says, when am I going live again? Well, I'm going live again at 3:30. Okay? Thank you for asking me again. I appreciate that. I said it before, but I'm happy to say it again. And I'll be going live again at 3:30, and I will be back again on a different topic, not on love. Okay? So I'll see you guys back again today at 3:30. Be sure to pick up my book at Amazon.com, or you can pick it up here at my booth today. Okay. Thank you, Fairgoer 1634. I'll be looking forward to hearing your questions then on my other topic. Okay. And don't forget, you can pick up my book here at my booth. Okay. I'm sure a lot of your friends and family would love to have this book for some presents. Okay. Thank you a lot, guys. Thank you for joining me today about love. And I'll see you then at 3:30. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.